Well, as promised, my good friend, Dr. Joe Congini with us. He's been part of this morning show for over 25 years. Dr. Joe, what do you have for us this morning, my friend?
Hey, Ray. On the Ray Horner Morning Show, we don't want to be vanilla. We want to have some kind of interesting things. It's a little complicated this morning, but stay with me.
All right.
But we also don't want to just ask the questions. We want to try to answer the questions. And I kind of promised you in the summer that we were doing some new things with concussion this year. And as soon as we got some research to say how the changes went, I'd give it to your audience. And today there's two of them, but it's a little bit strange because they're kind of on both sides of the fence. One is a high school study and one is an NFL study. The high school study, really well done. It was just out in the biggest journal for sports medicine called the British Journal of Sports Medicine and done in Wisconsin. Our Ohio High School Joint Committee on Medicine just sent the word out yesterday, and it caught my eye. And I read into it a little bit more. They worked hard in Wisconsin this fall. They did 2,600 football players wore the mushroom cap, the guardian cap. We wondered, how many kids would wear that. Wore it at practice. And 45% were in a control group where they didn't wear it, but they were studied. And 55% wore the guardian cap or the mushroom cap for practice only. And at the end of the year in Wisconsin, 2,600 kids, the guardian cap use during practice only did not show an associated decreased risk in sport-related concussion, either with practice or in the carryover to games. They didn't wear it in the games. They wore it in practice, but no decrease in sports-related concussion. That was a little disappointing, but at least we got to get answers, and that was a big number. So the people at the British Journal thought it was big enough to be an impressive study. So we wondered early in the June and July, you and I were talking, what was going to be with this mushroom cap? So that's one study. The other study, a little bit more promising, is the NFL study that came out recently. And in the NFL study, the ultimate conclusion, Ray, was that the 2024 NFL season resulted in the league's lowest recorded concussion total since 2015. So we really got concussions down this year, almost a 10-year low in concussions, sport-related concussions. And that's pretty encouraging in the NFL. And the NFL's guru on medicine and medical issues and concussions felt that really there were three reasons for it. He felt in order of importance. Number one, he thought the rules changes. We talked a little about the rules changes, especially on kickoffs. Now they see that the kickoff now has just as few or just as many concussions as any other play, whereas it used to be much more. And they think the rules changes overall, but particularly with kickoffs, were helpful. Number two, 20% of athletes, football players, wore it's really complex, but they're called position-related specific helmets. And so you might see, by looking at a running back, a wide receiver, a linebacker, a quarterback, a different type of helmet. And they've gone to the lab the last couple of years and designed different types of helmets for different positions. And they think that the 20% that wore those helmets helped in bringing that number down to the lowest number we've had in a decade. And number three, the number of people wearing the mushroom helmet, the guardian cap, was only about 20 football players. I don't know. You and I talked about it before and during the season. We thought maybe it was a little more than that, I thought. But 20 players wore the mushroom cap. And adding all three of those factors up and other factors, it came down with the lowest concussion number in a decade. And they mentioned at the end of the study, this is very important as the league now goes in to discuss the 18 games in a year proposal. So they kind of let the cat out of the bag. They are going to be discussing soon playing an 18-game schedule, and they wanted to have good concussion numbers before they went into to having that discussion. And so that is definitely going to be on the table. So those are a few of the things that we looked at research-wise to sum up the 2024 season, both at the high school level and at the professional level.
You know, Joe, the other thing in reading some of that study that came out is because they were ability to slow down some of these fast, big, strong athletes, on the kickoff plays and special teams. They also said a significant drop in the concussions on that particular play because it became more of a play in football instead of a speed and just run down with chaos. Slowing down those players' speed, they also thought helped.
Well, you read things really closely, right? That's exactly what, when I delved into it a little bit more, they said now the kickoff play, which always worried us to the beginning of when I was involved in having to look at concussions, always significantly higher play for concussions. And for one of the first times ever, the kickoff was almost the same, just about exactly the same as any other play. So you're exactly right. Some of those things that maybe some fans gnash their teeth about seem to work some, and will have to continue. You know there will be changes again this year. But kind of interesting for them to say at the end of this thing, much work to be done, Dr. Sills said, but they are going to be going into some discussions about an 18-game season.
Interesting. Good stuff, Joe. Thank you so much. And always great insight and really educating us on the world of sports medicine for our kids, our grandkids, and certainly for all of us to know. Thanks, my friend.
Thanks, Ray. Have a great week.
You too.